Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about the objection, you're too expensive. We're going to be talking a little bit about why this comes up so much, and most importantly, how to overcome it so you get more deals, smash your quotas, all that good stuff. So if that sounds interesting, let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit about why do you hear this objection? Right? Why has this come up so much? So essentially when you're hearing this, what this means is that the potential buyer has successfully commoditized you. Okay. We all do this. All buyers do this. Whenever we're buying a product, we want to, as quickly as possible, compartmentalize it, put it in a box, a predetermined box, and give a number to that box so we can easily compare apples to apples. This is the kiss of death when you're trying to sell a product. When you're hearing this, what essentially means is you have not established the real differences that you have between yourself and the competitors, yourself and the other products. A really good example of this is, let's say you're buying apples. One apple is $1, the other apple's $2, and you have no other information. Well, obviously you're going to buy the cheaper one, right? Because you have no reason to buy the more expensive one. But then, of course, if you get the information of, well, the other one is organic, right? Doesn't have any pesticides. It was used, or they used organic fertilizers. It didn't harm the earth. It's locally sourced. So you're supporting local businesses, all that type of stuff. All of a sudden, now have more information as to why the more expensive apple might be worth double the price to the right buyer if those things are important to you. Okay, most of you guys probably don't sell apples for a living, so let's give you a little better example. Let's say you're a contractor. You're a contractor and you build fences, something like this, right? Maybe some good questions to establish yourself would be, what type of insurance do you have? We're accredited with all homeowners insurances, so that means if you do have to file a claim or what have you, this is covered, so you won't have to pay for it again. How long are you planning on living in the house for? Are you going to be here for next 30 years? Are you planning on retiring here, dying here? Or are you just going to be out in the next 5 years? Maybe getting the top line fence wouldn't make as much sense if you're planning on leaving. Okay, do you have kids? That's a good question. Kids tend to break things, smash things, do heck knows what, and so perhaps having a more expensive, sturdier fence when you have kids, or maybe a fence which actually is aluminum and it actually will block the bulbs going through and things like this, so it doesn't have to hop over and go into the neighbor's yard. Maybe these types of things are good things to consider. Um, may, how about where's your lawnmower parked? Are you going to have to be wheeling it through the gate? Is the gate big enough? Is it at the right angle? Are you using contractors for your mowing? So do they have bigger lawnmowers and need to get through a wider gate? Maybe I need to talk about bigger gates or make sure it's a good fit. So these would be the great things to consider actually when you are talking to the potential homeowner, the homeowner potential buyer, if you're selling things like this, to differentiate yourself from the competitors. Because if you don't talk about these things and your price is higher, all they're going to do is look at the price one, price two, and pick the lower one. So I hope that makes sense. So keep in mind that is what is going on when you're hearing that objection. So let's talk a little bit now about what you can do to overcome it. Hey guys, real quick, if you do want to learn how to optimize your sales process, smash your quotas, and all other sales related stuff, please subscribe down below. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about how you might overcome this objection. Now, even though you typically hear this objection at the end, or let's say in the middle, whenever you give the price, the real place to actually start to overcome this is at the beginning of the pitch, during the qualifying phase, when you are asking a ton of questions, right? You're trying to get an idea for the buyer profile, what they're looking for, what's important to them, what prompted them to get on the call, all that type of good stuff. So let's go back to the apple, the guy buying apples, right? If you're asking some questions and you were getting an idea for this guy's situation, maybe he just lost his job, just got laid off. He probably doesn't give a crap about organic apples right now. He probably just cares about feeding himself and his family. Maybe it wouldn't be a good idea to talk about talk about the more expensive ones. But what if it's someone that is very environmentally conscious, someone that does not have as much budget being as much of an issue? Right? You're able to ask questions at the beginning and really start to hone in on what's important for that buyer. Okay. A big part of this is big part as well is that to overcome this is it tends to be sometimes it is just a smokescreen. It's just a default objection that any buyer is going to have to your product just because they don't know what else to say. They don't want to move forward, so they say, well, the price is too high. That does happen from time to time, right? So you also, when you hear it, you do want to try and take the opportunity to figure out, well, maybe there are some objections that I could have or should have handled earlier in the call. Maybe they're saying the price is too much because they don't really understand what they're getting with the price. Maybe I didn't explain sufficiently the process. Maybe they feel uncomfortable with some of the terms of the deal. And that's a lot of the times when it actually tends to come up of, well, you're just too expensive. Well, no, it's actually because I don't understand when I sign this, am I obligated to do this, right? Something like that. So that might be what's going on. The way you overcome that as well is with more questions. But what it really comes down to is you need to be focusing your entire pitch on the client and their needs, right? Not on your needs, not on you wanting to get a commission check, not on you just trying to sell more apples, right? In that example I used. It comes down to the buyer, what matters to them, what prompted them to hop on the call, and you need to be focusing and even customizing what you're saying based on what they're telling you at the beginning of the call with your qualifying questions, which is why the qualifying questions are so important. I always talk about they are 60-70% of the entire pitch is when you're asking questions and you're not saying anything, so it can't be missed. Also, to reiterate, it comes down to focusing on the buyers. It comes down to focusing on the buyer's needs, and it comes to focusing on you effectively establishing yourself, why you are different than the competitors. To go back to the Apple example, if you're just saying one apple's this price, the other apple's the other price, double the price, and you don't give them any reason to why they're different, they're of course just going to put you as a commodity and they're going to go with the cheaper product unless you are educating them as to why your product is different and why actually the more expensive price is an absolute deal. How should I say it? It's a really good value for what they're getting. When you take into account all of the things they're actually getting with the higher price, and that comes down to you as a salesperson to effectively educate them to the differences during your whole process. All right, so I hope that's helpful, guys. If you have any questions at all, please comment. If there's anything else you want to see on the channel, similar, different, let me know and I'll get back to you. Thank you.